Welcome to the BuildHERS Club podcast. We're here to bring you real conversations and fresh insights from a woman's perspective in the construction industry.
Each episode will sit down with incredible guests, female builders, designers, business owners, and industry leaders to talk about the challenges, successes, and experiences that shape our careers.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out or simply curious about the industry, this is your space to learn, be inspired, and connect with a community of strong, trailblazing women. Welcome back to the BuildHERS podcast, the place where we celebrate the women shaping the future of construction, building products, and the trades. My name's Teresa.
And I'm Zan. Today's episode is one I'm especially excited about because we're talking about something that can truly transform the industry, creating workplaces where women can thrive.
Construction and building products have traditionally been male-dominated industries, but there are companies actively working to change that. Today, we're going behind the scenes of one of these organizations. Our guest is Erin Schmidt, Sales Director of Andersen Corporation and Chairwoman of the Women Leaders of Andersen Network.
Andersen is widely recognized as a leader in workplace culture and diversity initiatives, even being named one of America's greatest workplaces for women by Newsweek. That is really
amazing.
Cool.
Very cool.
You're going to have an influx of women now, like trying to come and get a job.
I love it.
I hope.
That recognition reflects the company's focus on inclusive culture, career development, and creating leadership opportunities for women across the organization.
So today, Erin is going to share her journey into the building products industry, how Andersen is recruiting and supporting women, the role mentorship plays in career growth, and what the future of leadership looks like for women in construction. So, Xanica,
yes,
let's read her bio.
Yes.
Tell everybody who she is. I know.
So
we created one.
Thank you.
Yes. So excited you're here. So, Erin Schmidt is the sales director at Andersen Corporation and serves as chairwoman of the Women Leaders of Andersen, an employee resource network focused on empowering, supporting, and advancing women across the organization. In her leadership roles, Erin works at the intersection of sales, leadership development, and workplace culture within the building products industry. At Andersen, Erin plays a key role in strengthening partnerships with builders and industry professionals while helping drive strategic sales initiatives. Say that 5 times real fast. She is also deeply involved in fostering an inclusive workplace culture that supports career growth and leadership opportunities for women across the company. Through her work with Women Leaders of Andersen, Erin helps champion mentorship, professional development, and community building among women throughout the organization. The network is part of Andersen's broader commitment to creating an environment where employees feel supported, valued, and empowered to succeed. Passionate about leadership, mentorship, and expanding opportunities for women in construction and building products industries, Erin actively advocates for developing the next generation of female leaders and strengthening diversity across the workforce. I need like 5 horns after that introduction.
So my first question is,
Yes.
Are y'all hiring?
Exactly.
Because I want to come work for y'all.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. You know, it's just such an intentional focus for us. And that's exactly how we want people to feel when they think about Andersen, among many other things, of just, wow, what an incredible place to work. And I will say, even surveys and feedback of new folks, no matter the diversity kind of landscape, it could be, you know, older folks, it could be newer Gen Z folks coming into the organization, a unanimous source of feedback from all of them is, my gosh, the culture here at Andersen is unlike I've ever been a part of before.
That's
and
awesome.
So to be able to have the external validation of just, you know, Forbes and other things really showcasing that, but then also homegrown and within the 4 walls of Andersen having that feedback as well, it's just phenomenal.
That's awesome.
It's a phenomenal place to be.
I seriously want to come work for you for my second job. Okay. The big question.
Ooh.
Can you share your journey into the construction building products industry? And obviously, how did you come to your role at Andersen?
Oh my gosh. So I've been in this industry going on 15 years, and right out of college, I didn't even get my degree in anything business related. I got a clinical physiology degree.
See,
and
okay. Hello. I'm telling you, women fall into construction.
Tell me about it.
It's only been the last 5 years that we actually go to school for construction.
Yeah, right.
Otherwise, we all fall into it.
We do.
Yeah.
And it was, you guys probably remember 2011. I mean, I graduated from college, could not find a job to save my life. So, but all throughout college, I worked in sales. So that really helped me, kind of tap into my network, find a job. I was more applicable in sales than I was any experience I had in my degree. So I have this awesome degree, but I'm not using it anyway. So I tapped into my network and I started working as an inside sales representative. So that was just, bottom, first foot in the door job. And I remember thinking,
was that to the public or was that to builders at that point? Because I know there's two different renewal, Andersen Windows renewal. Right?
Yes.
Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay.
So at Andersen, under our umbrella, we have basically two sister companies, and it's the Andersen division and Renewal by Andersen.
Okay.
But when I started at Milgard Windows and Doors.
Oh,
so
Milgard. Okay.
Totally different company, but still in window and door manufacturing, and it was direct to the channel. And so we didn't sell direct to builders or contractors or the consumers. It was direct to our dealer channel at the time. And so I remember thinking, oh my God, this is a sales position. Am I going to be like cold calling people? Like, I'm so nervous. I'm 22 years old. I'm like, I've never done something like this before, but I was like, I didn't care. I just threw myself into it. I was like, whatever it is. And it really was such a great experience for me. At the time I was living in Tacoma, Washington, where Milgard's headquarters was, surrounded by 20-year veteran plus inside salespeople and just the sales organization in general. I was one of a handful of women. And not to mention, when I got into the construction world, I wasn't just a woman, but a young woman.
Right.
I was very young too. So took my naivete and just said, hey, like, I'm just going to do it. I got trained up for about 5 months. And I remember, HR never did this, but there was an inside sales opening in Texas, and she sent out a email blast across the entire enterprise at the time, which was just unheard of, needing somebody, wanting people to apply for this position. And so me, being so naive at the time, I was like, oh, I like Texas. I've been to Texas one time on a church retreat in San Antonio, no less. And I remember I was 17 at the time, and I was like, wow. I turned to my mom and I was like, I could live here. One day I'm going to live here. I was 17. So then fast forward at 22, I marched down to HR's office and I was like, hi, her name was Heather Normoyle at the time. I'll never forget the conversation. And I go, am I eligible to apply for this role? I've only been with the company for 5 months and I'm brand new to everything. I'm just learning what glass is like in a window,
Oh, that's awesome.
I didn't even think to go to my supervisor at first. And my supervisor at the time, she was phenomenal. And she was a really good family friend of ours. She kind of got my interview, but I worked for it, right? I was like,
she got your foot in the door.
I got my foot in the door.
Just for the interview, yeah.
And so I remember she came up to me. She's like, I'm grooming you to really take over, here at corporate. And I was just like, I know, but I really feel this pull to like interview for this role. So long story short, I interview for it. They fly me to Texas at the time from Tacoma, Washington.
Okay. Yeah.
Fly me to Fort Worth, Texas,
where it's hot and not rainy.
It was hot. I was like, oh my God, I've never been to Dallas, Fort Worth before, right? And I just remember thinking, wow, I got a rental car. I got a hotel.
You're like, I'm a big girl.
Yeah. Right? And so flew out, did the interview. Hilarious, because a couple years after, I realized no one else applied for it but me.
Are you joking?
I was the only one
to move to Texas.
Yeah, no one wanted to move to Texas. Texas was also, at the time for Milgard, one of our newer locations.
Right.
We didn't even have a manufacturing plant yet. It was what we called a C3 location. So it was a warehouse. We had inventory.
Like a satellite almost.
Yeah, absolutely. A satellite location.
Okay.
And so, talk about a big change for me, though, because I went from corporate in a sea of tenure that I could lean on in a very new green point in my career to I was the only person in the office taking phone calls, running the showroom, helping with inventory. And so I just built, it was kind of a sink or swim. I was like, my God, I'm like at this point 6 months into my window and door career. And I had, luckily all my outside sales reps were transplants from other locations, had been with the company for a really long time. And they're a big part of just weaving in knowledge and expertise into me. I mean, throughout that whole time, I would be on a phone with a customer, put them on hold, call someone, be like, hey, how do I answer this question? And just regurgitate it over. And it was just one of the best experiences for me, though, because
that's how you learn.
My upbringing was so different from my peers in the industry with Milgard and outside of Milgard, right? And so I mean, everybody was new at this location. My sales manager was new. My marketing rep was new. Service was new. The only people that had a stake in the game and tenure was outside sales, which that was the most important thing at the time.
Right.
And so I'll kind of take you through. So I started in inside sales, worked my way up to inside sales supervisor, was a huge part of the manufacturing plant that got built in Texas, worked alongside my regional sales manager, outside sales, my GM, plant manager, did audits in the warehouse. I mean, I got a breadth of just not really the normal things you would have experienced if I would have been in a more seasoned location. I would have stayed in my lane in sales, but coming to more of kind of a grassroots location, right. I wore so many hats and I really got to understand what manufacturing meant and what that meant to our business, and really looking at ops and sales as two twin pillars that hold up a company, that really hold up generating units and profitability and revenue.
Right.
So I was with Milgard for almost 8 years.
And it was what an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I had no idea I was getting into that.
So we have a lot of mentees and a lot of, Gen Z that's coming out right now. And what would you say to them? Because if they were thrown into it's kind of scary to think about that. But what skills did you have to have? And it wasn't probably even skills. It was probably more the tenacity and the willpower to want to learn more than anything. But
yes.
What advice would you give them if they're like wanting to do that?
The biggest attribute that I brought to the table, because I knew nothing, which also meant, and I was also a young woman. Mm-hmm. So then I'm not even like part of the camaraderie with my customers and my sales reps at the time.
Yep.
And I can't even, it took longer to build trust because I didn't know anything. All these things had no idea what I was up against, but I was so resourceful that they couldn't beat me on energy, effort, and being resourceful. If it took me staying until 10:30 at night, that's what I did. I didn't need anybody to know I did that, but I studied and I learned, and I had people throughout the company that were like my lifeline. Like I said, I would call them from other locations like, hey, how do I answer this question? But what I get this question asked a lot, like the next generation, Gen Z, coming into the workforce, because we're seeing it a lot. And there's a difference in work ethic with Gen Z and their mentality that they bring to the table. Some people find it negative in ways. Other people, like me, I think there's a lot of positive that comes with it. There's a difference, though, when you look at like a Gen X or a baby boomer versus a Gen Z.
Right.
And I'm reading a book right now that Brené Brown wrote, phenomenal book called Strong Ground. Highly recommend this. And she goes into this quite a bit too. And the difference, like you said, that like maybe a Gen X or like a millennial brings is just that tenacity, that drive, put your head down, work. It's about pride,
Right.
But a Gen Z is coming in and they already have like this work smarter, not harder mentality. They're thinking 5 steps ahead because that's what they've been taught in school and what they know, to kind of have that resilience and resourcefulness already woven into their demeanor and their approach to things. And so we're seeing this in other industries too, where you can really they're eliminating roadblocks instead of just going down to the grind and working their butt off, which is great. Like that's a great way to work.
Right.
But they're like, hey, I think we can eliminate X, Y, and Z and get there faster and reroute by doing it this way. What do you think? And they're like, oh my God, like awesome. So my recommendation is just lean into that for the new generation coming in, lean into that and don't be self-conscious about it. Be forward thinking about it.
Yes.
Be resilient and lean into your resourcefulness, because it's so advantageous that I think prior generations just didn't rely on that as much.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the hard work. You got to put the grunt work in. We have, pride that we worked 80 hours a week.
Absolutely.
And this new generation's like, I ain't working over 40.
Right. So how can I still get the results?
Right.
By not having to expend,
Yes.
because they're also focused on balance.
They are.
Which is
awesome.
Yeah.
And we've said this before, we need to stop glorifying the 80-hour work week and glorifying the 40-hour work week and the work-life balance.
And the value we tie to that. And I think as women too, I read a quote recently and it was so good. It was, I've never seen a woman not tired from like housework, working, always moving, always doing the dishes, always tying themselves to a value that they're just kind of on autopilot, right? I've never seen a rested woman, a woman just relaxed, just leisure, just take your time, softer, right? They're always working, they're always going, that's their mentality, but also because it's their own inner monologue that they're tying their value to. Mm-hmm. And I think this next generation of Gen Z, that monologue and that internal narrative is changing. And I think it's really healthy.
That is such a mind-blowing way to look at this, because we're both Gen X.
I just teared up. Again. This keeps happening. But I'm glad.
Right.
I'm glad for them that
we're so going to clip this. Like, this is going to be something we're going to clip. And Abby, who is our producer, she's 25. So she is going to be like, oh my God, yes!
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be, because she figures out how to do things more efficient. So she isn't working 80 hours a week, right? And Xanica and I are like, oh my gosh, if we don't work 80 hours a week, we're not completing ourselves, you know?
Right.
And so it's a mentality that we grew up being raised in that.
Absolutely. You were rewarded.
Yes.
Also.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a big part of it, is you're rewarded, recognized, reaffirmed in some ways.
You almost wore it like a badge on your
Absolutely. Yes. And decades before too. Yep. I mean, it's been decades. So really Gen Z is really this new kind of age coming in, because I would even say millennial is a little bit like that.
The younger ones.
The younger ones.
Yes.
And then you've got Gen X and baby boomer, and my God, the silent generation. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it is just so on and so forth. So it's really just been decades in the making of just that work ethic mentality. Right. And that's what's really changing with the new
Well, and I think too, for us, we had to prove ourselves when we started construction, right? We had to prove so much more than a man ever had to. Yeah. So we had to work harder. We couldn't make mistakes. Our mistakes were looked at, more heavily, and our successes, they really scrutinized. So we had to work a little bit different. Yeah. It wasn't the smarter, it was the harder, because if they didn't see that, because that was their mentality, especially the male mentality of, well, you got to work as hard as I do, or if not harder. Right. Right. And so it's kind of, this is a beautiful shift. It's a beautiful way in my mind to shift it, to look at it differently, because I never thought about that. And that is a great thing that we can actually take to our mentees.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're all young.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was an unlock for me too. And
what's the book called?
It's called Strong Ground.
Okay.
Oh gosh. And if you like audiobook, Brené Brown reads it in her audio version. Fantastic.
Okay. I'm going to
highly recommend.
Yes.
Get it on Amazon.
Yes.
Sorry.
It's my top
don't do my phone but I had to write it in my notes.
Yes. And keep me posted.
I will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So then you worked for Milgard, and then how did you get into Andersen?
So back in 2019, Milgard got purchased by MI Windows and Doors. And so when MI purchased them, it was right before COVID, right? So here they've this hundreds of millions of dollars purchase. And we go into 2020 and they're like, oh my God, like what's the industry going to do? We don't know. We don't know anything, because we were going to operate like a Eastern business unit, Western business unit, and a centralized kind of business unit. And that's where Texas was. And at the time we had a plant in Denver, Milgard plant in Denver. And Milgard's so heavy on the West Coast and MI so heavy on the East Coast. So we were kind of coming in and making a plan. Well, when COVID came, shaking in their boots, and they're like, oh my God, we're going to eliminate the central time zone. So they eliminated Texas altogether, pulled the plant out.
Oh, wow.
Laid off hundreds of people, including myself. And so that landed me at a different opportunity. So I went and worked for a dealer that was kind of just starting windows and doors. They were more heavily in flooring and kitchen and bath at the time. So they hired me on to do windows and doors and to kind of get that up and running. So I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. Like, I'll do that, you know? But I mean, talk about like my 8-year career at Milgard just came to a close in a 3.5-minute phone call. And I'm like, oh my gosh, at that point, I was a sales manager. I'm running things now, right? I worked my way up from inside sales and I was at the top of my game. I just got back from Maui, a top region in the country, top, sales manager in the country.
Oh, wow.
At an ultimate high. But you know what? I wouldn't have had it any other way. I was like, I left on a high.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
And now it's COVID.
Right.
No one knew what was going to happen. So it was an unusual time. So, I had to give my laptop, my truck, I drove a F-150. I loved it.
I love it. I love mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I just felt like such a boss. I was like, I'm the only woman that has an F-150.
I love it.
And I was like, don't bring that SUV. I'll take the truck.
Yeah.
And but I was like, you know what? Okay, so time to pivot. So really kind of did my homework again, tapped into my network. Even thought like, do I stay in building products? Do I do something in my degree? I always have that to fall back on. But again, more reputable in our industry. So I stayed in the industry. I went to the dealer for about a year and I was like, man, I really miss manufacturing. I love the manufacturing side of the business. It's like romantic to me. Like it's like
it's your passion.
It's a passion.
Yes.
And so then I tapped into my network again, and I had a friend who was running the retail side of the business at Louisiana Pacific. So I decided to go to LP and join his team, and it was a fantastic experience. There was a lot of women leaders there. It was a diverse company. So it really kind of got me back into the manufacturing game. But then I realized I was like, man, siding is boring. Like, guys, like really boring. I'm like, okay, like I could keep doing this. And at the time it was still like in the heart of COVID, right? So it was such an unusual time for people because the tables were reversed. We were on allocation. My budget was already sealed, signed, and delivered for the year because I hit budget already. Like within the first quarter, there was nothing else for me to sell, So I'm like, on top of siding being boring, and then I hit budget already.
Right.
I got to pivot again, right?
Right.
So a gentleman that I used to compete with when I was at Milgard, he was on the Andersen side.
Who was that?
Daryl Smith.
Okay. I know.
Do you remember Daryl?
Yes. Yep.
Sunny D. I love him.
Yeah, he moved to Atlanta, right?
He moved to Atlanta. Yeah, he moved to Atlanta. He's so fantastic. Been in the industry almost 40 years.
I know.
And I used to sell against Andersen. And so him and I would see each other at golf tournaments and just,
and that's who I met was his crew at the golf tournament. Okay. So that's who I knew and had my connection with Andersen.
Yeah. Both running in the same lanes, right? Milgard's a little different in our go-to-market approach than Andersen, but, all in good fun. And, him and I always stayed connected on LinkedIn. And one time, he just hit me up on LinkedIn and said, Erin, I see that you're running retail over at LP. We're looking for someone to run retail over here at Andersen. Are you interested? And I'm like,
oh, am I?
Getting back to my roots.
I'm like, oh my goodness, you are like, this is coming at a great time. And I was like, not only is it window and door manufacturing, but it's the number one window brand in the window and door world. It's the largest window and door manufacturer in North America.
Yep.
A $5 billion company. I'm like, oh, yeah, bring it. So I was like, who do I get in touch with? So went through the process and got in touch with the right people, interviewed for it, and landed the job. And I've been with Andersen ever since.
That's awesome.
And that was in
2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So just coming up on my 4 years with Andersen now.
How exciting is that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the inclusion aspect that Andersen brings to the table today, is that something you started or is that something that was there and you developed?
That's something that was there on a certain scale.
Okay.
And I would say that I think COVID really made Andersen reevaluate where we are from an inclusion and diversity standpoint, more so than I've ever seen at any other company. A lot of it was because for a time, we couldn't leave the house. So there was a lot of time given back to really evaluate some things within our company, I would say.
Which they did. They took the time to do that.
Which they took the time to do it.
A lot of companies did not.
They didn't.
This episode is brought to you by Champions Marketing and Navien, the #1 brand of gasless tank water heaters in the United States. Tired of running out of hot water or dreading your energy bill? Navien has you covered. Their tankless water heaters deliver endless hot water on demand, only heating what you actually use. And their heat pump water heaters are up to 3 times more energy efficient than a standard unit, saving you serious money every year. Learn more at navieninc.com. That's NAVIENINC.com or championsmarketing.com.
Andersen, being as awesome as they are, they're like, you know what? We're going to reevaluate some areas and we're going to prepare and just have some intentionality. Why not? Right? And so when
Who made these decisions?
A big part of it was our senior leadership team in HR.
Okay.
Really looking at it.
Okay.
We have phenomenal HR partners that partner with us at Andersen. They're just fantastic. They really see the peripheral vision when we're looking straight, right? They're kind of in the back seat while we're in the driver's seat and they're eating snacks and looking out the window for us.
Love
you
it.
know,
Have to have it,
And
right?
you have to have
Yep.
that.
Most HR companies you're scared of.
Right.
HR is scary.
Yeah.
Right? And your HR was actually, saw you as people.
Saw us as people. And they acknowledge that. Our HR team acknowledges that to this day. They're like, we don't want to be looked at as scary or we're your partner when things go wrong or like it's the red flag. We have more purpose and value than just that. We can really be a business partner to you. I'm like, oh my God, I've never experienced that.
I've never heard of that.
They were just like kind of, you know, seen but never heard. Like you were like, well, I know I have an HR partner, but they're kind of behind the curtain a lot, right? So really taking the time to be able to look at diversity in the areas of our business and especially our sales organization. So when I came into the company, not only was I able to see data reflected of gender diversity, but also POC, generational diversity too. How many baby boomers do I still have that report to me versus millennial? Mm-hmm. That's a different leadership approach that I take. Very situational leadership.
That's
that
right.
I have a big passion for. So keeping the inclusion and diversity in mind, it really also extrapolated into other areas of focus for us to be more intentional and to be aware. I think that there's a lot of enterprises that lack a self-awareness.
Mm-hmm. They do.
And then everything else lacks because of it from a leadership standpoint.
Wow. That's amazing.
I know,
It's just so cool. So how did you develop the program within Andersen?
So Women of Andersen. So our past name was Women Leaders of Andersen, and we changed it slightly to Women of Andersen. And the reason why we changed that was we got feedback that, oh, I can't be a part of this platform because I'm not a leader. And we wanted to clarify that we meant Women Leaders of Andersen was you lead yourself.
Right.
You lead business, you lead people. It doesn't matter. You're a leading lady in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it, of course. But we were like, hey, let's just change the terminology a little bit. So at face value, it's Women of Andersen.
I like that.
I like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Because then everybody's included in that.
Everybody's included, and there's a lot of depth that comes with it. So actually, Women of Andersen was already built. Women of Andersen has existed since 2018. So still fairly new. I mean, we're coming up on about 8 years of having the platform.
But it's amazing that you guys did this 8 years ago, right?
Yes.
I mean, women are only 11 to 12% in this industry.
Yeah.
And that's manufacturing as well. That's not just, out on a
Absolutely.
job site. So it's amazing that you guys took a look at this 8 years ago. And what an example for other companies that need to also start, including this in, because what women bring to the table is, and we'll get into what we think women bring to the table, but
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a week or?
yeah,
I know. We could talk about this for hours.
forever. It could be 5 episodes.
But we really work on refining it too. So it's been refined over time, just like the name of it, but also our initiatives and our focus points that we have within the platform too. And to be clear as well, it's a place for women. It's only one, we call it our business impact groups. We have like 6 or 7 business impact groups throughout our company. Women of Andersen is just one that I particularly chair. We have military, we've got STEM, we've got African American descent, we've got LGBTQ, we have all these different ones that if as a person, if you align with one and have a passion for it, we want you to feel included.
Right.
And you don't have to be associated by your color or gender or preferences to be a part of it.
Right.
We have men a part of Women of Andersen because they have a passion for the initiatives we're driving, which I think is beautiful.
I think
Because
it's
it is
amazing.
inclusive, not just of women, but
and
of
our
everybody.
mentors were men.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I think men
There's a space for
are the
that.
ones that have been supporting women to get to this, to this point. I know that there's lots of bad stories out there. Our stories are good. Right. Yeah. And we've had we've had some negative, but for the most part, some pretty positive stories where the men in our lives have been the ones that have been lifting us and supporting us behind the scenes and helping us, because that's where the knowledge started.
And how progressive is that?
I know.
How progressive is that? It didn't happen everywhere, like you said. But how amazing is it that we've had men in our corner, and we really celebrate that at Andersen too.
I love that.
Really having them. We did a male leadership panel through WOA a couple years ago, and we had our our VPs, our president of our company, even our CEO on this panel, all men intentionally. And we wanted them to talk about exactly what you just said. How have you pulled women up? What has established your passion for diversity at Andersen? What's some of your background? For instance, the president of the Andersen division, Ryan Williams, he's our executive sponsor for Women of Andersen, a male, right?
I love
That's
that.
great.
And we have that. We have executive sponsors for all of our business impact groups.
Does he have daughters?
He does.
See?
He's a girl dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has a beautiful wife. He's been married for over 20 years. He just has this place, that he has seen, what his wife and daughters have had to go through at whatever scale in the workforce or otherwise. And he's like, man, this is really important to me, because our president's also going on 3 years with the company. So he's still very new too. Just phenomenal way to have that kind of partnership with this business impact group, because when he and I meet, I get the male perspective and he gets the female perspective, the tactical and the emotional that we can. And that's formidable, in my opinion, to be able to bring that to this platform and to our industry.
It's awesome. That's why
That is great.
we're actually going to have not quite a few, but our male mentors and some men in the industry that have really just
We're going to do
supported
that during
us
the month of
and-
June, because it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
And
I
so
love
we're going to
that.
have our male mentors come in, and just men that we felt made a really big impact in our lives, and celebrate them. And they'll be the first men on the podcast. So it'll be
Besides
really
Don,
exciting.
Don Dykstra.
Don, well, and Debbie was his wife. Yeah. So we really want to. We're at a point, I think, in the podcast where we really want, all inclusive with the men, because I mean,
Well,
to be honest, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my male mentors.
absolutely.
Taking a chance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What strategies has Andersen implemented to recruit women in traditional male-dominated roles?
So the ways that we've recruited, we participate a lot in job fairs, like career fairs across the country. We also do a lot with different colleges too. Andersen and Women of Andersen.
So when you say colleges, what kind of colleges? Are you like Texas A&M, where it's like construction management?
Yes.
So different construction management.
University of Minnesota, Carlson School of Business, and then A&M. We've got some kind of sprinkled across the country that we intentionally partner with and align with to be able to talk about Andersen, talk to students about Andersen and our diversity. Our culture is a really big one.
Yes, especially for Gen Z.
Especially for Gen Z.
Yes.
WOA does this too. So since I've started chairing WOA, it's one of the things I really wanted to bring like a parallel approach to. So WOA is always focused internally, kind of back within, the four walls of Andersen, which is fantastic, because that's how it started. We wanted a platform for the women of Andersen. And we're nurturing that, and we're keeping those initiatives going. But then this companion piece of, well, how are we getting in the industry, and how are we participating in the industry? Who are we hooking arms with, like BuildHERS, like Women in Construction, like Women in Roofing, like different associations with customers, with builders, whoever.
And commercial and residential?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Across
perfect.
the board.
Okay.
And so one of the initiatives that brought that on was speaking and being on panels at different colleges and talking to students, specifically like female students too.
Yeah.
Of just hey, here are the different jobs that these females have, whether it's engineering, it's manufacturing, it's HR. It's not what people think that a woman is doing, like marketing or like more admin work.
Right.
We have evolved since then, right? Not that those jobs are bad; they're great jobs.
Yes,
but we are seeing more women in manufacturing and in leadership roles and in the sales organization than we ever have. So that's been a huge piece that we've contributed to through WOA, and Andersen participates that in a lot throughout the country too.
That's awesome.
That's incredible.
I love that.
To be able to tell the message, I mean, because you just don't know. I mean, you just don't know until you know. And we also have a really robust internship program at Andersen.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yes.
Okay, so we will hook you up on that because a lot of our girls, to complete their 4-year construction management that we work with Collin College.
Okay.
They have to have an internship that is in the building industry. And so we will love to kind of talk to you a little bit off-site or off-air about that and just kind of see where maybe we can help mentor some of those girls into that.
And like I said, it's not even just construction. It's engineering. It's marketing. It's sales. It's business. It's finance. So we have internship programs within a myriad of different categories for folks that are coming out of college, women, obviously, but whomever that could participate in it. So I'd love to talk to you about it more.
Okay.
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
Beyond hiring, how does Andersen focus on retaining and advancing women once they're part of the organization?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of mentorship programs at Andersen. So we have one through WOA. We have mentorship programs that are kind of woven in throughout our enterprise, quite frankly, on the renewal side and on the Andersen division side. Andersen also invests in a third-party mentorship program also to send leaders to that I'm actually doing for the first time this year myself.
Oh.
And I've kind of coined the phrase like bookend mentorship. And what I mean by that is you have a third-party mentor. So outside of your business, someone you've never met before, confidential. You can talk about like what we said in the beginning, a lot of things you don't talk about like at work. And to be able to understand and have, accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish with the obstacles you might face uniquely.
For that are yours.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then the other bookend is having a mentor within your company. And so having that direction, understanding the political field. How do I play chess and not checkers? Right? Because as you move up in your career, you're playing more chess than you are checkers.
That's
and so I've coined it kind of bookend mentoring because I'm like, that's kind of the sweet spot to me, especially as you move up in your career. You kind of unlock these different levels. And when you just start, one mentor is enough. And probably within your organization, hey, just help me block and tackle. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then you get more and more sophisticated and refined. And Andersen really is deliberate about that. And they understand that that's a need. And actually, as we speak, we're working on a more enterprise-driven, sophisticated mentorship program where it's more of a structure. It's not all these different kind of departmental mentorship programs. Like WA has been a fantastic opportunity in this space. We've been doing a mentorship program for about 3 years now. I actually launched it through WOA. It's been fantastic. We've gotten great feedback and it's cross-collaborative with renewal too. One of the biggest positive pieces of feedback we've gotten is, oh my gosh, I would have never met this person if I wasn't a part of this mentorship program, because I understand what they do, over here. We intentionally pair people that are not in the same department. So someone in sales being partnered with someone maybe in finance, or engineering paired with someone else. So you can get really a well-rounded perspective on your job, but the job of others and how to look at the business differently. So we're really, really specific and detailed on who we partner with, at least through WOA. And then, of course, we have all these different subset mentorship programs. So
intentional.
Awesome.
That's just incredible. That's
well,
awesome.
I'll be giving you a call to help us with our mentor program.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah, because we would love to have different, a lot of, the girls are studying construction management and they're either looking at commercial or they're looking at residential. And it's just that. And until they got into this program, they don't realize how many aspects of construction there is. from the manufacturing side to the building side to the office. We have one girl who loved architecture. That's where she kind of was in. She got her bug. She was just on our podcast. We brought one of our mentees on, and she was in architecture for years, but really wanted to study law. And so when she got into the program, she realized, oh my gosh, I can do law and contracts, right? And so, or do contracts and construction. And she'll do law with contracts. And so she didn't even realize that was an option until she started getting into, construction management, and then realizing how many aspects there are to it. So I would love to have different mentors, and they have their idea of where they're going to go, but they don't even realize how many things are out there until their eyes are opened.
Absolutely.
So it'd be great to have you in our program. And it's not a whole lot of, I promise. I mean, it's so rewarding. You'll love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Pull me in.
You will love it.
Yeah.
And it's the younger generation. It's high school. It's college girls, so some of them are older, changing their careers.
Yep.
Some of them are just fresh out of high school and have no clue, so
they don't know what they don't know.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They really don't. So it would be great to have you on
such
that.
An opportunity for that, for sure. I'd love to.
Can you share a success story where mentorship or sponsorship made a measurable difference in someone's path?
Oh, that's a good one.
Probably have a lot of them, I would think.
I know. From a broad scale, a lot of like what I mentioned before, it really, our mentorship programs have become such a source of networking. Again, going back to like the younger generation or even green folks within like the organization that might not know a lot, which, I've been there before, like everybody has. They don't know what they don't know. And they don't even know who to look to for a mentor at most of the time. And
I don't think people even realize what a mentor is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like defining that mentorship, it isn't somebody who tells you what to do. It isn't somebody who's going to open up all these doors.
Right.
That's not what they're there for. They're to help guide you, give you different ideas, open up your mind to something. It's almost like a counselor for your job.
Yeah.
In all aspects of it. And like you were saying, you have two different tiers, two different bookends of what your kind of guys are doing. Sure. But when you're looking for a mentor, it's somebody that you're going to connect with emotionally. It's somebody that, you can say, oh my gosh, I'm having this issue with my teenager and it is really affecting my job life because of this, and this, and just things that you can't talk about inside a job. That's what that mentor is for.
Right. And it's vulnerability.
Yes.
And so that was one of the key pieces of feedback we got to was, wow, the more comfortable I am with my mentor, the braver I can be and the more vulnerable I can be. And then you unlock so much more faster when you can do that.
Yes.
And it's interesting, like to your point, a lot of mentees don't realize they're in the driver's seat, that it's really not their mentor driving the conversation or setting the goals for you. But with some of these more green or newer, younger folks coming in, they've been dictated to most of their life. I mean, even kind of in school and like their parents and their family and everything. So they think I'm going to walk into my job and I'm dictated to too. And then my mentor is going to dictate to me. And it's like, no, actually, no. We're going to encourage you to think for yourself.
Right.
And we're really deliberate about that, based off of what motivates you and what inspires you and what you want to get out of this experience. And we're going to make sure we align the appropriate person that can do that for you. So I don't think it's any one specific thing. It's a myriad of different things, small things strung together that make just the biggest difference. Being able to network with different people, reach over the table with folks that you would have never met before.
Right.
They stay in your corner. We have a lot of repeatable partnerships because they're like, I'm not done yet. Like I need another year with them, and we're like, absolutely, it's your journey. So, just these partnerships that have become so strong and advantageous and efficient is just beautiful. I mean, because you're learning and growing from it, especially our mentees, but our mentors too. They're getting different perspectives, the newer generations coming in, understanding their work ethic, how they can approach different things differently, different scenarios differently based off of working with that mentee. So it's very much fluid too.
I love that. Okay, so what advice would you give a young woman is considering entering the construction industry?
Again, I think back to myself when I came into the industry so young. And I say so young, I guess I wasn't that young, but just not knowing anything, but being brand new. I honestly, to the construction industry or any industry for that matter, I would say to not be self-conscious and know your worth. And I know that sounds like a line because we're all like, know your worth, self-respect.
Yep, right.
But it's so true. And what I'll give you context behind that is it's so easy to kind of develop almost like imposter syndrome. Oh, right. Like so prevalent, especially
we feel that every day.
Women.
Yes.
Yes. Like, do I belong here? Did they want me? You know, part of, and I'm not going to lose track of your question, but I'll touch on this a little bit too. Part of also being intentional with inclusivity and diversity is making sure you're not just checking boxes and being intentional in that category, that you're really valuing what the person brings to the table and their skill sets and their experiences. Even for me, being in my position, I didn't want to just be here because I'm a female in the industry. I really wanted to earn it. And I wanted to feel like I earned it and know I earned it. I have a place here and I have value here. I think that's really important to keep that at the forefront too when we talk about diversity, because it's not you're just prioritizing this graph over here to increase it and grow your percentage of females in the workplace.
Yes.
There is a value of it and you're valuable and we see what you bring to the table. And so back to your question about what I would tell a female coming into the construction world, you bring value already. Don't doubt yourself so much just because there's seasoned people around you that have been in the industry longer than you. You still bring value, even in the fact that you don't have that many years in the industry. You can bring a different perspective, like the Gen Z bringing, I'm not going to kill myself at work, but I am going to work hard for you and I'm going to bring results to you. It's just going to look and feel different to you. Okay, I'm open to that. And I want them to have self-confidence through that and bring that forward and not let back to that inner monologue. Don't let your inner narrative dictate you, because that's the majority of this also. It's not so much your external network or company making you feel this way. You're making you feel this way.
Right.
Yep.
So have awareness there. A lot of this is self-awareness that you can create coping mechanisms and you can create strategies to overcome it, to not hold yourself back.
Right.
That was a long answer. And
No, and that's very true, because now mental health comes into play with all of that, right?
Yes.
And so that is the next issue that we're going to have to tackle is this generation, this Gen Z, their mental health is just through the roof. And it has a lot to do with technology and the influx of technology. And so how they develop coping skills around that, I think, is going to be something that as parents and schools, we're going to have to figure out how to help them with that, because we don't know. We never dealt with it.
Right.
I mean, can you imagine if we had phones when we were in high school and college? And everybody could take a picture of us around a bonfire. I mean, because that's what we did, was bonfires. You know, we didn't have places to go where I lived. Those big old bonfires and drinking. You know, I mean, all the stupid stuff that we did.
We went to the end of 360 before there was a Mansfield. Like, I don't know how much you know about DFW, but I'm talking the end of the highway where it ends.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then these kids are bullied on their phones. They've just got so much more to deal with than what we ever did.
Yeah.
And we can say till the day's long, well, just put your big girl panties on and pull them up and get out there and do it. But nobody's given them skills.
Right.
Because we don't know those skills.
Yeah.
We didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So we've got to figure a way as a society, as parents, as senators, as our leaders, that is going to help these kids, because they're drowning.
Yeah.
And that inner dialogue for them is really big.
Yeah.
And you saying that, that's all good. We can say all that, but they don't have those skills yet. And so I think that's like a big thing that we're going to have to, I think that's going to be a part in the workforce, is dealing with that mental health.
Yep.
And helping these kids get away from that and develop their own sense of self versus what they see.
Right.
That's a really big thing.
And we're only going to be as valuable to that next generation, the more we invest in ourselves. Yes. And a lot of this mental health that's surfacing is new.
It is.
No one's talked about it. And
this is the first generation that has talked about mental health.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, honestly.
Yep.
So then because no one talked about it, no one dealt with it.
Yep.
And you might have been feeling it. But again, I'm going to put my head down and get after it.
We deal with it in secret.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it, right? And that is one of the things that we're big on here is we tell our real life stuff and we use our stories because that's all we have right now.
Yeah.
And other people will come on and talk about their mental health journeys too. But it was something you picked up that rug and you shoved it right under.
Absolutely.
Right. And even today, it's considered bad taste to talk about mental health in our generation.
Yeah.
And so opening those doors and being able to speak about it is a really big thing.
There's so much that's there from a multi-diverse outlook.
Yes.
From a female perspective, from someone of color, and then even a male perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Because even men that were taught for generations and generations to just not tap into their emotional intelligence and their emotional side, they are some are inept there.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a gap.
Huge gap.
Huge gap.
My generational Gen X men,
Yeah.
they don't even know what emotional, they have a really tough time because they were not taught that way.
Because they also were not taught coping mechanisms and skills.
They were not.
to deal with it.
Stop crying.
Just stop.
Don't cry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Strong men don't cry.
It's a multifaceted opportunity.
It is absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. What would you tell parents that are skeptical about their child entering in construction?
Skeptical because it's a male-dominated industry. Probably.
That and just even as a male, construction is seen as this blue collar network.
Yeah.
Right. And, you can't make money and you're going to be out on a building and, there isn't,
Until you're in it, you don't
realize it, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that we're really going to be hurting for is trades. You hear us talk about this all the time. Workforce development. We're trying to develop trades so that, we have plumbers, electrical, HVAC workers to put in windows, and then move up into management and sales and on up. So what would you tell parents who are like, my kid wants to go be a plumber and there's no money in that and it's dirty work? I mean, I know I'm asking something that's kind of outside of windows, but if they said, hey, mom, I want to go into manufacturing, even manufacturing isn't considered sexy.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So what would you tell a parent?
In my perspective, there are so many skills to be learned. It's kind of like your kid wanting to go to college or not wanting to go to college, right? Like, oh my God, what do you mean you don't want to go to college? Like, you don't want to get your education. You don't want to further your education. Some parents have a real problem with that.
They do.
Especially if they have degrees and stuff like that versus, a Gen Z that's like, I don't see the value in that anymore. I want real life experiences. It's kind of the same thing to me. Someone that wants to go into a trade and get a journeyman's license or something like that versus be in sales and work your way up the corporate ladder. There's so much life lessons to be had, even in a blue collar position. For instance, for me, I'm married. I'm a stepmom of 3. And my stepson, he did 2 years in college, wasn't for him, was going to college to be an engineer like his dad, doesn't want to be an engineer anymore. And he got a CDL license and was like, I want to be a truck driver. And he's a truck driver for McCoy, loves it, loves his schedule, loves doing it, delivers windows. I mean, he delivers building products for McCoy. And we're so proud of him. Did we think that was the path that he was going to be on at one point? No, but he pivoted and put energy and effort into this other path that he has fulfillment and balance in. Again, a Gen Z approach. He's like, I have work-life balance. I want to be there for my wife. I want to be home every night. And this is the job that allows me to do that in the place that he's in right now. So I just believe that different jobs and the different people that you cross paths with and the different experiences and opportunities you get to have are just lessons for you to be able to shape you to be the person that you're evolving into every day. So I guess that's what I would tell that parent of just, hey, it's more about how our children are aligning with the lifestyle they want, not aligning themselves with what they enjoy doing. When we were all going to school, even high school, our advisors would ask you, well, what do you like? I mean, I know mine did. I was like, well, I like working out. I'm 18.
Right.
I'm like, I like going to the gym 2 hours a day because guess what? I don't have anything else to do.
Right.
And so I got I basically got an exercise science degree because that's
same.
what I like to do. I took it a level up and got clinical physiology, but I was like, this is what I like to do. And then again, I'm going to go above and beyond and get the highest degree I can. Instead of, I wish I would have had an advisor ask me, what do you want your lifestyle to look like? Oh, well, I want to travel and I want a home on a lake. And I want a family and I want X, Y, and Z. Okay, let's maybe choose career paths that align with that in your goals right now.
Well, see, and they're making them make these decisions in junior high.
Yeah.
And who in junior high knows what the heck they want to do?
Yeah, they don't even know their hormones.
No, they don't. So they need to change that. I think they really need to work on that more in a high school, and they want to build their high school programs based on what they choose in junior high. And these kids aren't capable of tying their shoes half of the time in the morning, and getting out of bed in time to get to school. And you want them to make their entire life choice of what they're going to do for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to kind of change. That focus needs to look a little bit different, but that's for the school board.
I even see some of this at Andersen, where I even have some employees that report to me. I have 25 employees that report to me in my region. So I run Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And all sales operations basically runs up to me. And I have even some of my female folks on my team that are like, they have a preconceived notion and direction in their head that they feel obligated to pursue on their career path. But their talents and skill sets align with something totally different. But as a woman, they feel that they're not fulfilling their duty in the construction world or at Andersen if they don't stay on this path. And so it's taken, again, investment in myself, like reading books like Brené Brown's Strong Ground, and like how to approach these conversations and bring different perspective to tap into that emotional conversation, because I'm in your back seat looking outside your windows for you as you're looking straight ahead, and I can see a totally different environment for you.
Right.
I think if you pivoted here, you'd have more balance, you'd be happier, you'd be, fulfilling and bringing your skill sets to the forefront in a much better way, exposing it to the company and leadership. But bringing people to see that kind of coincides with the parent,
Right.
There's so many different ways we see this today.
Right.
Whether it's junior high or, people going off to, graduating from high school, or even now in the workforce, middle-aged people.
Right.
That are still have a runway in their carer.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. We're going to have to wrap this up.
No,
I know. And I'm like, we're on like...
That was a fast hour.
It was so fast. Isn't it always fast?
It's
like there's so
fast.
many questions.
Yes. Can we do like a round two?
I know.
No,
I think we should have her as a speaker at one of our PWB events.
Oh, I would
she'd
love
be
that.
I'm doing many throughout Texas this year, so invite me.
Yes.
I'll be at Sunbelt again.
Okay, perfect.
Yay.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm down in San Antonio for a couple. So
Okay.
let me know.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights. What's great is hearing about companies like Andersen that are creating real opportunities for women to grow and lead and shape the future of the industry. And I think more and more companies could actually take a look at Andersen and what they're doing right.
Thank you.
So...
And to everyone listening, if you're a woman working in construction, building products, design, or development, you belong in this industry. And conversations like this help us move the entire industry forward.
Thank you so much for listening to the BuildHERS podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with a colleague, join us next time, and as we continue to highlight women that are building the future. Until next time, keep building. Xanica, take us away with a quote.
Or 5.
Or 2.
Construction needs strong women, not just in the field, but in leadership, sales, and decision making. If you're willing to work hard, speak up, and stay curious, there's absolutely a place for you here.
I love that. We should have read that at WIC Week.
Yeah.
Because I think those girls are like, we don't belong here, right? Like, how do I belong? And they're so young, and they're just like, we're not made to feel welcome like we belong here. And that would have been something that would have been great for them.
And
regardless.
One last one. It's short.
Okay.
Every woman who steps into this industry makes it easier for the next one. Our job isn't just to succeed, it's to make sure the door stays open.
Oh,
That's really good.
Always bringing, who are we bringing with us?
The next generation.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. Thank you all so much. We love you.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
BuildHERS Club is a production by Monarch Media Hub.
Recorded and edited by MZ Studios and executive produced by the amazing Abigail Thompson.
Hosted by me, Teresa Williams.
And me, Xanica Scusa. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, message us on Instagram at BuildHERS Club.
Or email us at hello@monarchmediahub.com. That's HELLO @monarchmediahub.com.
And as always, when commenting, please use grace. We're here to build each other up.